a few months ago, or a month ago, I did a video on comparing the 20-year-old version of the Strike Force, and y'all wanted to know if the 20-year-old wet fire in it would still ignite. Well, does that answer your question? However, it would not take a spark from the Strike Force. It took a match to light it, but it has now been burning, just a small piece of it has been burning now for over 2 minutes. And there's an entire another piece here, and some little pieces, and therefore a strong wind could blow it out, but I didn't want to leave it burning. It was, I'm sitting right underneath a smoke detector, so, but yes, a 20-year-old wet fire will burn. I did not crank it down into powder and then hit it with a spark. I just tried it in broken pieces, broke it in half and tried to light it that way, and it would not catch a spark that way. And I have ignited Tinder Quicks with the Strike Force, so I know that it throws a good spark. I've also done just plain untreated cotton balls with the Strike Force. And now inside this compartment I will probably put Tinder Quicks, because, or a couple of waxed cotton balls. I prefer wax to Vaseline because it's less messy, personally. But you can use what you want to use. But I hope that answers your question. Will a 20-year-old wet fire still burn? And the answer is yes. If I had crushed it down to powder, which I still have a big enough piece that I can try that with, but I just didn't want to go through all that trouble. This wasn't a real survival situation. It was just a matter of, will a chemical still work? And apparently the package was unbroken. It was still sealed. So perhaps that had a lot to do with it. I did have a wet fire that wasn't from this. It was just in a little survival kit that somebody gave me, and there were 2 wet fires in it. And I opened one and used half of it, and then about 2 years later, the package that had been open, all I had done was folded it over, but that still lit with a match. I didn't at that time. I was skilled with a ferro rod at that time, but I was it was to show Boy Scouts how to properly light a fire with a single match, and I showed them a couple of different ways to extend the light of the match for adverse conditions, and one of those was with a wet fire, one of those was a birthday candle, and one of those was a wax cotton ball. And also told them it didn't have to be a birthday candle. It could have been a tea light candle. It could have been, believe it or not, a Q-tip that you've actually just taken out of your ear. Earwax will actually is a fire extender. I don't know if you knew that or not, but there you go. 20-year-old wet fire did actually burn. I will get back to you if I decide to see if the powder will take a spark. I've never had to take them down to powder to get a spark to take, but perhaps my technique was a little off. I haven't used the Strike Force in a long time, and it's a little bit different than the ferro rods that I usually use now. Well, anyway, that'll do it for this one. God bless and happy trails, and watch your top knot. Sorry you didn't see me ignite it, but actually that was the boring part, I thought. And well, I was actually trying to strike it on camera, and I paused it for a second uh, to rearrange things, and then the paused video, the camera stopped, and that meant that the video was stored, and it wasn't a complete video. It was just hi, and the greeting, and hold on a second, and I'm going to try to strike this. I have to probably leave the camera, and I went like that, and things weren't working, so I reached up and paused it, and then the video did its weirdness again. Anyway, God bless, happy trails, and watch your top knot.